Hey, what's going on? Screen Thumb. So today, part two of the indoor winter greenhouse build. So we're working out a couple of things here. So let me show you what we're working with here. So I needed to figure out a way that I could hang the great big LED light from the ceiling, right? From the ceiling joists. So I'm going to use some of this stuff. It's metal strapping. It's easy to work with. It's flexible. So I'll show you what I made here. So this is it, okay? It's bendable. So I measured out the 6 holes and you can cut it. You can easily cut it with a pair of metal snips, okay? It's easy. And then I just wrapped the center around the back end of my vice grips to get a nice round bit. And the light uses small carabiners. So I'm just gonna run the carabiner through that hole right there. And then I'm going to use 2-inch deck screws. Okay. I'm going to use 2-inch deck screws to go through both holes here and here and here and here to hold it up onto the ceiling, and the beaner will clip into here, and I'll do both sides of the light that way. So I'm going to have 8 of these 2-inch deck screws holding it up in the ceiling. So I made 2 bits here. Okay. This strapping is great for all kinds of stuff, and it's not expensive whatsoever, right? 25 feet of it. So now my next thought is where along the ceiling, so you're looking at the door. Okay, there's the door. The back end is behind you. So we're about 6.5 feet wide and about 11.5 long. My next thought is going to be, where on the ceiling, closer to the back end, am I going to hang that light? It's a great big long LED light. I need it to be able to make sure that everything on this wall, that's where, that wall there, that's where I'm going to be growing my cucumbers and my tomatoes. They're going to grow up trellis netting. They're definitely going to need a lot of light. Behind you is going to be probably peppers and I'm not sure what else. And down the sides, down here, is probably going to be my lettuces and stuff. Now I do have a second LED light. It's nowhere near as powerful, so I can also hang that from the ceiling closer to the door. The only problem with that is every time I walk in the door, I'm going to catch it in the face or something. Knowing me, I'm kind of clumsy anyways. So that problem with the light here, I can deal with later. I have T8 dual bulb shop fluorescent lights I can put in here. That'll grow lettuce and stuff, no problem. If I want to go that route, that's what I used to grow in the greenhouse with. So that'll work. Anything that's flowering though, like the tomatoes, the peppers, the cucumbers, anything that's going to put out a flower to produce a fruit or a vegetable, I need to have the full spectrum light. So it's got to be under the LEDs. It's got to be, right? Or it's not going to flower. So the next thing is going to be to basically just figure out how far from the wall, that way, am I going to hang that light. So let's turn this thing around. See if I can do this, touch my phone and turn it around. Oh no, it doesn't give me the option to while I'm filming. Okay, I'll turn this thing around and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's the back wall. You guys can always tell it's that disgusting yellow color. So I'm going to tie in to the ceiling joists this way, and the light is going to hang down the center of the greenhouse like this. So I think I'm probably going to attach it from the third joist, 1, 2, 3, from the third joist and back to here or here. So it's going to hang almost in the center of the greenhouse. Almost. So I think that's going to be the plan. So I'm going to get some tools and we're going to start building. So take a measurement from the center of the other hanger to here. Do the same here, we're at 30 inches. Come on. That'll be the center. I'm not even going to mark and measure this one. We're just going to drive them in. Because you know what they say, just let her wobble. So at least we have a center, no big deal. Stuff them in your mouth like a real contractor does. One. Then tighten them down a little bit. There we go. That's it for that. Alright, so this is how it works. Here's the pulley system. Okay. So these two clips connect to one end of the light with steel cable, 2 beaners, okay, and this pulley system. The pulley has, see that little switch right here? Okay, so you can raise the light up and it won't release because there's a cam in there. When you want to drop it down, okay, you just flick the little switch and you can just lower your lights down. I've tied a knot on the end, so I can't pull it through the pulley because that would just be bad and the lights can end up on the ground and smashed, and you know, we don't want that. So what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to hook it onto the strapping. So not complicated, right? Okay. So now all we got to do is climb up. Take that, oh, I'm all zoomed in here. There we go. Take that beaner and just clip it on. Like that. There. So that wasn't so hard, right? Attach to the ceiling. I'm going to repeat with the other side. All right, so here's the big bad LED that we're going to be using. It's a Flizen 3200 diode, dual driver, full spectrum LED light. And it's 40 inches long and it weighs about 15 pounds or so. So I've got a piece of styrofoam there that comes from the packaging. And I just wanted you guys to be able to get a good side view here. Let's see if you can. There you go. There's all the diodes in it. So what I'm going to do is I've got the clips hanging there and right over there. And we are going to get you set up here. And we are just going to literally connect the steel cables to the light. And it's just got built-in holes right in the frame for it. So they go in super easy. You just come through the back, click them in. There's one end. And the reason I extended these all the way to the ground is because it's not something I want to do hanging up in the air just in case something happens. I'm working alone, and because I'm always working on projects alone, I always got to figure out the most efficient way I can do things without, breaking stuff. So we're connected, and I'll reset the camera, and we're just going to start pulling this thing up to the ceiling. So here's the plan. So because I'm just going to be starting sprouts and stuff, I don't need this really high off the ground, right? But I do need it high enough up that I can put pots underneath it, and even because I can adjust this like way down or way up. So when I first start those sprouts, I got to have this light on the lowest setting, because I learned the hard way last springtime that when you turn it all the way up at full godly bright sun retina blast your eyeballs brightness, it'll fry all of your little seedlings, because I lost about a third of what I started last year because I turned it up and went to work. So we're not going to do that this year. So we're probably just going to raise it about 3 feet off the ground. That way I can work underneath it, and it'll have enough space on the ground where I can work underneath it and not fry anything. So we're just going to go side to side, put some tension on it, and we'll just keep going. There we are. So now that that's off the ground, so I'm going to start everything underneath it. I also have a pepper plant and some basil plants and stuff up in my living room, and a parsley plant outside that I might be able to nurse back to health. So now that that's up in the air, I got to figure out how I'm going to run that power cord. What I'm probably going to do is run it straight up, attach some clips or some bent nails or something up in the ceiling, run a heavy duty extension cord across the ceiling joists and down, and there's plugs outside this room, and I'm going to be running it into a really heavy duty power bar. Because if you're going to set up something like this, do not cheap out. Run it through a power bar. That way you have a circuit breaker between you and the wall. If anything happens, or there's a short, or there's a fire, or there's a power surge, don't use junk power cords, because I've seen those things melt. Okay? Buy something quality. I'll show you guys what I'm using. I'll go grab it. All right, here's the power bar I'm going to be running the lights through. And I've run my entire greenhouse off of this before with multiple light banks and fans and grow lights and all kinds of stuff running through here. So I'm not too worried about this thing not having enough power. So we have I've got the wire hung, got the light on, got the power wire up to the ceiling. I put a 3-inch deck screw in on as much of an angle as I could. As much of an angle as I could with drilling downwards, so it's on an angle, so it's going to hang that. I did the same here, and then I've run it across the ceiling under this piece of strapping that's holding up the duct or the dryer vent. I'm gonna just put it's hard to do this facing up, guys. I'm gonna put just a 2-inch deck screw in here to pin that to the ceiling, and then I've used 1 1/4 inch hooks, brass hooks, and I've ran those into the ceiling, one there, and one there to hold the extension cord up. And then what I've done to go through, here's the edge of the greenhouse, is I've used this piece of strapping here. I just ran it through, Run another 2-inch duct screw in. I didn't drive it in all the way because I'm gonna pull it back out when I hang the other LED light in. And then you can see it through here. And then it's just plugged right into my power bar right down there. So that's how that light's gonna sit. And then, so we've got the light on. That's at its lowest setting here. And you can already feel the warmth off of it. And it's got, there we go, all right? So then we can just take that and just dial it right up. I don't know how much of this the camera's gonna pick up, but there you go. Let's stand back, maybe you'll be able to see a difference. So that's the big light. And I mean, keep in mind, obviously it's blasting right at the ground, right? So, yeah. Like looking into the sun. So, and I've also brought in 3 large pots. I had tomatoes growing in these this summertime. So I was gonna blend up soil today, but I couldn't because when I brought these inside, because it was above 0 today, it went up to 8. I went to mix up the soil, and the soil was frozen in a big block, solid in the middle. So I brought it in the house, and they're defrosting. And you can see right there the water leaking out of the pot from just being outside. So you look at underneath there. Which is fine because I don't need it soaking wet when I go to blend it. So they're sitting on, hooked on the light here. So they're just sitting on bin lids as drip trays. They may just stay on those for the rest of the winter, I'm not sure. But probably because they seem to work okay and they're not gonna leak. And I've also taped up the plastic sheeting to the wall above the register. So all I did is I just took duct tape, made a loop of duct tape, and then stuck it back onto itself so the sticky was on the outside, and then I've just stuck it to the wall. So now all the heat coming off this register is going to come up into here, because that's the exterior wall, so that wall is going to get pretty cold. So I need this to stay, you know, relatively warm in here. So that's hang on, I'll step back so you guys can have an idea of what we're looking at here. So that's the greenhouse currently as it sits. I started ordering seeds from MI Gardener yesterday. I didn't complete my seed order. There was some things that I wanted to order that he didn't have in stock, which is okay, but I have some of the stuff that I need to start now anyways. And now that I've got the light hooked up and running, some of the plants that I have in the living room I'll just bring down and I'll put underneath the light, and I'll see if I can get them back to life. But my new dog has decided it likes chewing on my pepper plant, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to bring that one back to life. But we'll see. If there's life in it, she'll come back. If not, it is what it is. I'm going to start new ones. I'm going to start new ones anyway, so that way I have big healthy pepper plants to plant in the ground next summertime. And then tomorrow, weather pending, we're going to start blending up the soil to be able to start planting seedlings. We're going to start with fast growing crops like lettuces and stuff like that, because I want to be eating that stuff sooner than later. And all of the seeds that I purchased all have characteristics that I want to grow inside of the greenhouse. You know, day to maturity, you know, roughly 50 days or less. That includes cucumbers. I've ordered 3 different kinds of cucumbers, all kinds of herbs. I haven't ordered my tomatoes yet because his tomato listing is extensive, so it's going to take me a little bit to go through it. But I've ordered peppers and herbs and cucumbers and all kinds of other goodies. Some will end up in here, and then I ordered a bunch of stuff that I'm going to plant next summertime outside. So I'm just stockpiling now. So if you guys are looking for seeds for next summertime, you may want to consider ordering them sooner than later, if you catch my drift. All right, well, that's it for today. Oh, and also on this wall, so here's the door, right? On this wall here, that's where we're going to be growing the cucumbers and the tomatoes all along that wall on trellis netting. I think what I'm going to do up here on this ceiling is probably where I'm going to install that smaller plate LED. You know, it's only about that thick. It's like a piece of glass with LED diodes attached to the bottom, so it doesn't damn near weigh anything. So I might just install that here, because I think the cucumbers that are going to grow on this wall right here are going to need a little bit more light. But once this thing gets raised up, it's going to light up this whole area sufficiently, I think, for everything to grow. I don't think they're going to have a problem having enough light. So, all right, well, hope you guys are enjoying the indoor winter greenhouse series so far. Like I said, tomorrow I'm going to be blending up soil, so I'll have that video released tomorrow night, as well as another video that I'm going to be working on tomorrow as well. For those of you who don't watch my channel very much, I also show you guys how to prepare and put food away. And tomorrow I'm going to be making a video on how to make banana chips, because I got a smoking deal on bananas today. So, well, that's it, guys. So give me a big thumbs up on this video, show your support, and hit that notification bell and subscribe if you guys haven't already. It really does help me out. And leave a comment. All right? Have a good one, guys. Love ya. See ya.